morning, everyone. Today, you're joining me in the M Coupe. Now, this drive has been kind of annoying to actually film because every time I get around to it, I have a free weekend, I can get up early on a Sunday morning and do it, something pops up. As you can see, even this morning, as soon as I get in to film it, are you kidding me? Check engine light again. So, you know, kind of annoying, but here we are. I cleared the check engine light and I'm just gonna send it and hope it's fine. So another reason this took me quite a while to actually film is this is my first manual car and I have been learning to actually drive it properly. So I didn't want to film a first drive and then absolutely blow at driving it and then I wouldn't do it any justice. So I had to delay it for that. And then random check engine lights like the misfire that I filmed a video on that nobody watched. And now this P0170 code that pops up out of nowhere. I clear it, I think it's all good. And then it pops up again out of nowhere a month later. So that code's apparently for some sort of vacuum or intake leak. Last time I disassembled the intake system and cleared it, and then it went away for the better part of a month. So I'm thinking maybe it's that again. I don't know. Look at that crispy double clutch downshift because my third gear synchro is apparently a little messed up. So I like to go easy on it. Trying to give the engine a little bit of sauce so we can evaluate it and see if the check engine light comes back, because that's fun. It seems to come back really when I'm just idling, so I think when I'm driving it's okay. Now if you hear lots of squeaks and lots of creaks in this video, I'm sorry. A lot of the plastic trim and stuff in this car is old and it's a little squeaky. We've got the really squeaky cup holders, we've got the rattly container down here, we've got the rattly radio, the seatbelts kind of rattle a little bit, but I think I fixed that because it used to rattle right in my left ear as I drove the whole time, and that's been better. So again, just to sympathize with my third gear synchros a little bit. And see, I still suck a little bit at downshifting. Well, that wasn't so bad. Nice little rev match. Still trying to learn. Still trying to learn. That wasn't too bad. This car on a back road is really so much more fun than the 240. So, up 25, can't be speeding here. So on a nice tight back road, which you really don't want to be flying around like this, I mean, this car is absolutely perfect for that. The 240 on this road, complete handful, way too much. I mean, I was going Mach 4 instantly, and I felt nothing doing so because there was very little feedback from the steering and the car was just so fat that around corners it just kind of felt not so hot. But this car feels freaking great around corners, even on stock suspension. Now, to be fair, I haven't driven anything that handles super good. My experience is still rather limited, so I'm really just comparing it to the 240 and my friends' cars that I have driven. So one thing that concerned me about this car when I got it is that I wouldn't really be happy with how quick it was. And it is certainly way slower than the 240. However, the car is super old and super lightweight, relatively, for the time, not that lightweight. But it feels like you're going so much faster. Like, the sensation of speed is not even close. I mean, doing 60 in this thing feels like doing 120 in the 240. Not that I would ever do that, never done that. So my third gear synchros aren't totally shot, but I have grounded into third a little bit. So when I'm not aggressively downshifting, you can kind of see I just double clutched it in there just to save the synchros a tad. A little more mechanical sympathy than one might necessarily need, but I do like to give it that. It is an old car. That's how you do a pull. I'm trying to find some good open road for you, but I can't. One thing I've been pleasantly surprised by are the brakes. So I'm pretty sure the calipers come from the M5 and the rotors come from the M3. Maybe it's vice versa. But the brakes are surprisingly good. They're actually pretty much the same size as the 240, which again was a much heavier car, and the brakes in that thing were one of its weak points for sure. So I've been pleasantly surprised in this car. The brakes are actually quite good. Oh, we've got a nice little Camaro behind us. I really love the sound of this S52 engine. It sounds such a sweet sounding engine. It just sounds old school. It sounds mechanical. It's been a long time since I've really driven an NA car, and it's just such a delight. Another thing I've really just been pleasantly surprised by is the low end torque that this engine has. It's really got enough in most gears to do what you need to do. The creaks and the squeaks and everything in between on a bumpy road. A lot of that's just the radio here, which I'm going to be replacing with a Bluetooth unit. So hopefully that'll go away. The armrest I'm also going to be replacing at some point with a leather Z armrest to eliminate that squeaking, and also just to make the cup holders more useful. So another thing I cannot do currently is heel toe downshift. I might just straight up be too big to do that in this car. I really can't maneuver my leg in such a way that it's conducive to doing that. So that was a garbage downshift, but at least I did it. Now this is a very tight back road, which this would normally be pretty well suited for, but that stretch in particular is very narrow and really just a one car thing. Now that we're away from that, this car is in its element. Like, even just below 2,000, which I was there, like it's got plenty of torque. Now, to be fair, it is a 3.2 liter engine, so it's not like it's a tiny little thing. But it is just kind of nice. That was a nice little downshift into third. I'm trying to get good at that, and sometimes I do good, sometimes I do bad, and it is what it is. I'm learning. Forgive me. Like, this engine is just so nice. It's just refreshing. Turbos are cool, but like this just feels so old school and just great. Honestly, I don't have much to say about it. It's just such a pleasant engine, and it sounds good. I still haven't given it full beans, because again, you know, like this is where I would love to do a heel toe downshift, but I simply cannot. I'm not good enough right now, unfortunately. But again, that low end torque of this thing, it's nice. I've said it like 4,000 times now. I get it, but it's really just the perfect power for a scourge of the road. So let me try to get around him here with that lovely low end torque that I keep saying. Like, I'm used to not needing to downshift in the B58 because that thing hits peak torque at like 1600 RPMs. You basically, like, what the hell was that? My goodness. God, it's getting warm out and I have the fan off for audio purposes. You know what? I'm going to turn it on. Can you hear that? Probably not. Maybe. I don't think you can hear that, but it's a lot more pleasant to hear now because of it. So let's do a little practice rev match downshift for this. Not so bad. That wasn't so bad. I did okay there. Sounded cool, right guys? There we go. First pull of the video. How was that? I had a decent downshift and a relatively quick shift into third. Still practicing that. Like I've said, I'm really still just learning to drive a manual. I have only been driving it now for maybe, has it been 2 months? I don't even know. That's crazy that it's been 2 months and I'm only just getting around to filming a first drive. It's ridiculous. This car is just so nice though. Like, little slow back roads like this are perfect for this thing. Like, I mean, I'm not going that fast on these roads, guys. I mean, I wouldn't even want to. I mean, a lot of these corners like this are blind. I don't fly around blind corners because you never know. But like, this is just so nice. And this is another example where I would love to heel toe downshift, but my foot and leg, I just don't think they're the shape for it in this car, truly. I don't know if it's just a me thing being stupid or if it's just my body being not the right size, because ultimately this is not me sized, guys. I'm 6'1", like 260. This is not a me sized car. Nice little, let's get a first gear pull in here. This car's not that slow. Like, it's not fast, but it's not slow either. It's a very nice speed. I like it. It's satisfying. It's enough. But now that we're in 5th gear cruising, I mean, another nice thing about this car is it's not really compromised. I mean, it's still pretty comfortable because it is a light car, so the damping can still be pretty soft and, you know, maintain a pretty low amount of body roll. I mean, the heavier the car is, the stiffer it'll need to be to control those body movements. So if the car is super light, you can keep the suspension relatively soft and still actually maintain the body movements. Yep, that was a bad downshift there. See? I'm sorry, guys. I moved it. See, this street they just did a bunch of construction on, so there's going to be lumps and bumps everywhere, and it's still not that bad. I mean, the suspension's still pretty compliant while maintaining some pretty solid handling. Even the seats, I mean, they're bolstered well enough for me. Like I said before, I'm a pretty big dude, so I'm kind of wide, and the seats they're good. They don't squeeze me that much. I wouldn't say just the right amount. They could be a little tighter, but overall they're pretty good. They hold me in place well enough, and they're still super comfortable. The suspension, I would actually say, feels quite similar to the 240 in comfort mode, where over bumps it's still pretty soft and comfortable. But Sport Plus in that thing, over bumps, it was not damped very well. It would just sit there and bounce up and down over bumps, and it was kind of crap, honestly. I feel like I'm getting pretty good, guys, at driving the manual. I'm pretty glad that I've gotten used to it, because it is a lot of fun. I am kind of on team save the manuals now, because I'd never driven a manual before this, and I was always kind of like, you know, I mean, Automatics are pretty quick nowadays. They're fun, right? And if you get a DCT, that's fun. But I don't know, guys. The manual kind of seems like the way to go. Now, what are my future plans for this car? Now, I want eventually to do an intake. I want eventually to do an exhaust. And perhaps down the line, eventually, if things permit, I would love to do ITBs on this car. And all of you were like, oh, that's stupid, just go turbo. I don't want to go turbo. I want to keep this thing NA, if I'm honest. I have found some ITB kits, and I've seen people do some dynos, and you can get this engine NA to around 300 horsepower, and you can't tell me that's not enough in this thing. I mean, really. The S54 version of this car gets around that horsepower, and that thing is fast. That thing does 0 to 60 in like high 4 seconds. That is plenty for the road, truly. And if I could do that with ITBs like the S54 and sound crazy, but also maintain the reliability of an S52, because the S54s are a little bit finicky, and that's honestly kind of, I'm not going to say that turned me away from it, because the price being double what this car is for an S54, that turned me away from it. But you have to remember, this thing is currently my daily driver, so I would like to keep something relatively reliable still. See, I say that, and I also complain that every time I try to film a video, there's an issue. So I guess I'm kind of eating my words there. But the issues have been minor so far. I mean, that P0170, I think, I don't know what that is. It's just kind of like a random, it comes and it goes, and the car drives fine, and it doesn't come back for, you know, God knows how long. So I'm just kind of ignoring it and pretending it's not a problem. So I do actually have some plans to do something a little different with the exhaust. I would love a valved exhaust, but there's no aftermarket solution for that at the moment. And if there's not one at this point, I mean, there's just not going to be. So I think I'm going to have to do some version of a custom exhaust, because these cars are known for droning pretty badly when you open them up. I mean, even stock, I mean, they kind of drone a little bit at certain RPMs. So I couldn't imagine how annoying it would be if it were straight piped just permanently, because I'm kind of a little baby. I have little baby ears, and I don't want it to drone. I'm not the type of person that can put up with that. So custom valved exhaust, it will be for me. Do I have any regrets selling the 240 for this car? Absolutely not. So I had the 240 and this car at the same time for maybe a month or so, and in that time, I mean, I never wanted to drive the 240, if I'm honest. I mean, by most objective measures, that's a better car, but this is just more fun. I mean, it's a vibe. Over revved it there. Not the best downshift. It's okay. This engine's so smooth. BMW straight sixes are just so nice. Am I gonna do a pull here? Because the Federales like to sit there. I did it anyways, that's fine. So anyways, guys, thank you, and have a lovely Sunday morning.